This page is the front cover of a September 2000 issue focusing on Nintendo 64 and Game Boy games, costing 9,490 yen. The main theme is Summer Vacation Playthrough 16 games for both N64 and Game Boy. Featured are GB Great Operation 2, New Secret File, and Dengeki Great Strategy 2000. The cover highlights several games, including Pokemon Stadium 2 and Shiren the Wanderer 2, which was a Japanly release. There's also mention of The Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask, Paper Mario, Mario Tennis, Kirby 64, The Crystal Shards, Excitebike 64, and Powerful Pro Yaku 2000, another title that remained in Japan. The artwork shows Mario, Luigi, Waluigi, and Bowser playing tennis. A Game Boy Color and a yellow cartoon bear are also visible, potentially related to the Game Boy coverage within the magazine. This page is an advertisement for the game Paper Mario, known as Mario Story in Japan, for the Nintendo 64. The game is described as an action and role-playing game, where Mario and his companions, who have become paper-thin, embark on a fun-filled RPG adventure in a 3D space to rescue Princess Peach from Bowser and the captured Star Spirits. It's stated that the game will be on sale from August 11th, with a suggested retail price of 6,800 yen. The advert features screenshots showcasing gameplay, characters, and scenes from the game. This page is an advertisement for Mario Tennis 64. It highlights the game's core appeal, which is the fun of engaging in rallies, thanks to its accessible controls. The advert promotes it as the ultimate tennis game on the Nintendo 64, focusing on the strategic element of deciding how to finish a rally against your opponent. It mentions the game is now on sale with favorable reviews, and includes a price. The page prominently features Mario himself and a screenshot of the gameplay in action on a tennis court. This page is the contents page for the September issue, outlining the magazine's features. The main highlights include a summer game special, covering 16 titles such as The Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask, Paper Mario, Mario Tennis, Kirby 64, The Crystal Shards, and Pokemon Gold and Silver. A special section focuses on Game Boy Advance games, including Kirby Tilt and Tumble and Pokemon Puzzle Challenge. Regular magazine sections are also listed, such as game previews, columns, and news. An index is provided, listing all games featured in this issue with page numbers. This page is an advert for Kemco brand Pokemon communication cables for the Game Boy. It highlights that these cables are essential for battles and trades in Pokemon games. The ad showcases different cable types, including the standard communication cable and Pikachu and Togepi themed versions. The Pikachu and Togepi cables are priced at 1,980 yen, while the character kit cable is priced at 980 yen and comes with interchangeable Pokemon characters like Chikorita, Cyndaquil, and Totodile to attach to the cable ends. It mentions a July release for the character kit. This page is an advertisement for light novels and comic series published by Dengeki Bunko and Kadokawa Sneaker Bunko. It heavily features Fortune Quest VI, the latest episode in the popular series, along with other Fortune Quest-related books and comics. Also advertised is Kino's Journey: The Beautiful World, Double Breed 2i, and Mystery Eyes, with author and illustrator details and prices. The advertisement also promotes comic adaptations of popular Dengeki Bunko works, such as Cosmos Sao, Gold Gehenna, and Tsuki to Kizoku ni Hanataba wo, highlighting author and illustrator pairings. It mentions a special comic feature with interviews and illustrations related to these series. Overall, it's an advertisement for various light novels and comics, not directly related to N64 games. This page is dedicated to suggesting 16 games to play during the summer vacation, titled Summer Vacation Playthrough Strategy 2000. It features a collection of Nintendo 64 and Game Boy titles, starting with The Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask on page 8, showcasing a screenshot with text mentioning Don Goro-sama. Page 24 highlights Paper Mario. Page 38 features Mario Tennis 64. And page 48 promotes GQ Powerful Pro Yaku 2000, a baseball game. Kirby 64. The Crystal Shards is on page 52, followed by Excitebike 64 on page 56, and Ganbare, Nippon. Olympic 2000 on page 58. Page 60 presents Doraemon 3. Nobita's Town SOS. Page 62 shows Nushitsuri 64. Shiokaze ni Notte, a fishing game with a speech bubble mentioning Sandaru. Pokemon Gold and Silver appears on page 64, followed by Wario Land 3 on page 65, and Power Pro Kun Pocket 2 on page 66, another baseball title. Finally, page 67 includes Metal Gear, Ghost Babel, and Survival Kids 2, Dashutsu, Futago Shima, while page 68 features Mr. Driller and Balloon Fight GB. This page is dedicated to The Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask. It's titled Zelda's Legend, Majora's Mask. Shock! Special selection of 10 secret techniques. The page features gameplay tips and tricks for the game, focusing on riding Epona in Clocktown. It describes a technique to ride Epona in Clocktown by exploiting a game mechanic related to time and location. The article mentions that it's normally impossible to bring Epona into Clocktown, but provides a method to do so, starting from the West Gate in Clocktown at 6 a.m. The article highlights this as a surprising technique that goes against common knowledge. There is a section called Data Column 1, Keaton Question and Answer Collection, which is a quiz with questions about the game. The quiz includes questions about characters like Cremia, Anju, Romani, and Tingle, as well as locations like Clocktown and Romani Ranch, and items or events within the game like Vintage Milk, the Carnival of Time, and the Zora Band. The answers are provided next to the questions, covering a range of details about the game's world and characters. This strategy guide for The Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask, provides tips for gameplay. One section details a method to infiltrate Sakon's hideout using a spin attack. Successfully executing this allows entry, but risks falling out of bounds. Another section covers an event on the third day, where performing the Sakon trick unlocks the couple's mask. However, the guide warns that obtaining the mask alone doesn't guarantee success in the Anju event. Proper gameplay is required. The guide also lists the locations of 10 ox statues in Clocktown, with specific locations provided for statues next to the sword training area, in Town Hall, the mayor's office, Anju's grandmother's room, the bank, and several shop counters. The guide concludes with an advertisement for a complete strategy guide. This page is all about uncovering secrets and tips for The Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask. It mentions that if you show Tingle's picture to the tourist guide, you can get a piece of heart, but also highlights some other interesting reactions you can get from the tourist guide by showing different character photos. It shows screenshots of reactions to photos of characters like a Bokoblin, Fukubaba, a business scrub, Choo-Choo, a Deku King, and Zora Link. The page also reveals a trick for boss battles, explaining that on days 1 and 2, if you trigger the Bombers event and then enter Dekunut's Link into the daily changing playground on day 3, you can transform into Oni Link. The article suggests using the Oni mask in boss battles. Another tip is about Garo warriors in Ikana Castle. It recommends using the March song while facing Garo warriors. By showing their faces to each other and then playing March, they will start dancing, allowing you to sneak behind them and defeat them. Finally, there's a section detailing messages from Bomber members regarding different masks. This section lists various masks and the corresponding messages you'll receive from the Bomber kids when wearing them. It notes that there are 24 types of masks and messages, and the Bomber members, along with the swordsmanship instructor, the treasure chest shop lady, and the town hall reception lady, will react with unique messages to different masks. This page is all about The Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask. It details several gameplay tricks within the game, including using Deku Nuts to clip through walls in South Clocktown, and a method to make a golden Skulltula float in Zora Hall. There's also a tip for reaching a secret area within Zora Hall using Zora Link and barrels. The page also includes a warning advising players not to imitate in-game actions with real insects and fish, essentially telling kids not to put bugs in bottles and then in water or fish in dry places. Furthermore, it mentions that after collecting all masks and items in Majora's Mask, characters will say different dialogue. The page showcases a large list of Gossipstone messages from throughout the game, providing hints and rumors found in Termina. This page is from a Majora's Mask solution guide, priced at 490 yen and currently on sale. This page is a walkthrough map for the Woodfall Temple from The Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask. It's a complete guide to the dungeon, showing room layouts and numbered locations. The map is split over 1F and 2F. Text boxes give hints on how to proceed in certain rooms, such as purifying the water in a room before rescuing a fairy, or using the Deku flower in room 2 on the second floor to reach a switch. Screenshots accompany the text, demonstrating gameplay within the temple. The goal mentioned is to rescue all the stray fairies hidden in the temple to power up. This page is a guide for the Snowhead Temple from The Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask. It features a multi-level map of the temple, spanning from the first floor to the fourth floor and basement level B1F, with numbered rooms. Below the map, there are gameplay tips highlighted in boxes. One tip explains how to use the Mask of Truth to see the ceiling in room 13 where hidden fairies are located and up. Another tip details using Deku Flower jumps to descend slowly in room 17. Finally, it pinpoints the location of the fairy fountain within the temple. The page advertises itself as being from a complete Zelda guidebook for 490 yen. This page is a strategy guide for the Great Bay Temple from The Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask. It features a detailed map of the dungeon across multiple floors, 1F, B2F, B1F, with numbered rooms. The guide provides gameplay tips, such as the importance of timing when stopping water wheels in room 1, and using the hookshot to break pots and obtain items in room 9. It also points out the location of fairies within the temple. Screenshots show Link navigating the temple and interacting with game mechanics. The guide seems aimed at helping players progress through this specific dungeon in Majora's Mask. This page shows a walkthrough map for the Rockbill Temple from The Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask. It details multiple floors, including 1F, 2F, labeled as 2F, possibly indicating a reverse state, B1F, and 1F reversed, labeled as 1F. The map is numbered room by room from 1 to 26, clearly guiding players through the temple layout and culminating in a boss encounter in room 22. There are helpful gameplay tips, such as using fire to activate switches and the crucial temple inversion mechanic, which is essential for saving everyone. Specifically, to rescue all the stray fairies, the guide mentions that chests in rooms 1 and 11 containing fairies only appear when the temple is inverted. Furthermore, to collect all fairies, the temple must remain inverted, even after opening all chests in the upside-down state. One screenshot highlights a puzzle in room 8 involving a press switch in lava and using Deku Link to relight something, which then disables flames around a large switch. The page also references locations within the game, like Icona Valley and the Fairy Fountain, placing the Rockbill Temple within the game's world. At the bottom, there's a mention of a complete strategy guidebook for The Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask, available for 490 yen, suggesting this page is promoting the guidebook. This page is a complete guide for collecting all the gold skulltulas in the Swamp Spider House from The Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask. The guide provides detailed maps of the first and second floors of the location, marked with the positions of the skulltulas. It explains various methods to get them, such as using bugs in jars near bean planting spots, checking pillars, attacking beehives, rotating trees, hitting pots, and using magic beans to reach higher areas. It also details how to wake up a sleeping Deku Scrub with Deku Nuts, and use magic beans to grow vines for access to new areas. Collecting 30 gold skulltulas and returning to the entrance will reward you with the Mask of Truth. It emphasizes listening for the sound of the gold skulltulas to locate them hidden in grass, and provides tips for using items like the Deku Nut and magic beans effectively in the Swamp Spider House. This page is a strategy guide for The Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask, specifically focusing on a location called the Sea Spider Mansion. It provides tips for finding gold skulltulas, advising players to check gaps in ceilings and walls, holes in walls, and to shake chandeliers. It also mentions moving bookshelves and chests, and shooting pictures of Stalkid to reveal hidden skulltulas. The guide explains how to use the hookshot to reach upper floors, and points out climbable bookshelves in a particular room. A puzzle involving stall babies is described, where players need to listen to the leader stall baby to learn a color order, and then shoot masks with arrows in that sequence. Finally, it reveals a special reward. Clearing the dungeon by the end of the first day will earn you the Giant's Wallet from a man at the entrance, which allows you to carry up to 500 rupees. The page is promoting a complete strategy guidebook for Majora's Mask, called Book of Solutions, priced at 490 yen. This strategy guide outlines how to conquer the Moon Dungeon and defeat Majora in The Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask. After summoning the giants, the Moon Dungeon opens, featuring areas like the Deku Nut and Goron dungeons. These require specific masks and unique abilities, such as using the Deku Flower and Goron's Rolling Dash. Giving masks to children within the moon unlocks these dungeons. The guide emphasizes the importance of the Fierce Deity Mask, acquired after giving all other masks to the children. This powerful mask is crucial for the final battle, offering a strong sword and magic beam attack, though it consumes magic. The guide includes maps and screenshots to illustrate dungeon layouts and the use of the Fierce Deity Mask. This page is a strategy guide for the Nintendo 64 game, The Legend of Zelda. Majora's Mask, focusing on dungeon strategy, and boss battles. The page highlights two dungeons, Zora's Dungeon and Link's Dungeon, within the Moon Dungeon area. For Zora's Dungeon, it advises players to walk rather than swim in the waterways due to the strong currents to avoid getting lost. It also gives a hint about Kotomo, which is a child character. It suggests not forgetting to get the heart piece in that room, as backtracking isn't possible. For the final boss battle against Majora's Mask, it describes the boss's three forms and attack patterns. The first form is vulnerable to boomerangs, the second form to reflected light from the mirror shield, and the third form involves close combat with the sword. Link's Dungeon is presented as a straightforward path, mentioning enemies like Dinolfos, Boscarara, and Iron Knuckle. The page suggests using Bombchu to destroy certain walls and find Eye Switch. Finally, it gives tips on recovery using Gossip Stones, and hints on using Bombchu effectively at the end of the dungeon to progress. This guide details the Anju and Cafe side quest in The Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask, outlining an 8-event schedule across 3 in-game days. The events, with specific times and locations within Clocktown and Icona, involve interactions at the Stockpot Inn, the Laundry Pool, and Sakan's hideout. Players must manage time carefully, potentially using the Song of Time to reset the clock. The quest begins with Anju's misunderstanding and promise, followed by receiving Cafe's letter and giving the Pendant of Memories. Players then find Cafe, venture to Sakan's hideout, and ultimately reunite Anju and Cafe at the Stockpot Inn. The guide also references other characters and quests, emphasizing the importance of key items and masks. This guide outlines timed side quests in The Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask, primarily focused on events tied to the mask shop and characters in Clocktown. The quests are numbered, starting with a message from the shop owner on the 3rd day. Subsequent events involve buying the Keaton mask, acquiring Cafe's mask, delivering express mail, participating in a stopwatch game, delivering letters, and requesting express delivery. Completing these tasks often unlocks rewards. The guide also lists various characters throughout Termina, like the Rosa sisters, Anju's grandmother, Kamaro, and the Gorman brothers, and where and when they can be found. This page is a heart piece location guide for The Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask, listing 52 heart pieces in total. It's designed to help players who may have missed some and want to reach the maximum of 20 hearts. The guide is structured in a table format, detailing the location of each heart piece, how to obtain it, and common places players might forget to check. Locations range across Clocktown, Woodfall, Goron Village, Great Bay, Icona Canyon, and even dungeon areas accessed from the moon. For example, in Clocktown South, at the Clock Tower entrance, you can find a heart piece by checking the Deku flower. Another example in Woodfall is getting a heart piece from a treasure chest on top of a tree. The guide continues providing similar hints for locations such as the Swamp Tourist Guide area, Deku Nut Castle, Goron Village, Great Bay Coast, Icona Valley, and even inside dungeons accessible from the moon like the Deku Nut Dungeon. This page is a guide for The Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask, detailing how to obtain various masks in the game. It lists numerous masks with their locations and methods of acquisition in a table format. The page highlights the Fierce Deity mask as the strongest mask, explaining that to get it, you must collect all other masks, clear the 4 dungeons, and then speak to the children wearing masks inside the moon to receive it. The guide also mentions that the Fierce Deity mask is incredibly powerful and can be used in boss battles. This page is a game guide for Mario Story, known internationally as Paper Mario, on the N64. It highlights that this is a role-playing game where Mario is the main character, and this guide aims to explain everything from the game system to the story's climax. The page details the game's world, characters, growth system, battle mechanics, event introductions, and story explanations. The strategy data section indicates a playtime of around 30 hours on normal difficulty, recommending it for players who want a relaxing experience, although completion can extend to over 40 hours if all sub-events are explored. The game is scheduled for release in September. The guide will cover everything from the opening to the ending, designed to be a complete strategy book for players. It promises detailed explanations of game basics, focusing on the story up to Stage 2, and includes charts of items, badges, and enemy characters. This page introduces the world setting for the game, describing it as a fairy tale world. It focuses on 4 towns that Mario will visit in his adventure: Mushroom Town, described as the largest town and a central hub. Nokonoko Village, a peaceful village east of Mushroom Town where Koopa Troopas live but currently troubled by Choloban. Kurikuri Village, the starting point of the adventure and home to Mario's partner Kurio's family, where Kurio's grandfather will assist Mario. And Karakara Town, a desert town past Gatsugotsu Mountain from Mushroom Town, known for cheaper items. The page includes a map of Kanoko World, showcasing these towns and other locations like Starfall Hill, Mushroom Castle Ruins, Mario's House, Marin Road, Poka Poka Road, Gatsugatsu Mountain, and Karakara Desert. There's also a section discussing Mario's history, referencing his first appearance in Donkey Kong, and a Mario chapter section featuring a screenshot from Donkey Kong, highlighting Mario's use of a hammer. This page is detailing the game world of Paper Mario. This page is a character introduction and thorough explanation for Mario's story, known internationally as Paper Mario. The page focuses on Mario and his companions, who will join him on his adventure against Bowser. It introduces several key characters, Mario himself, and companions such as Kurio, Goombario, Kameki, Cooper, Pinky, Bombette, and Palette, Paracari. For each character, the page details their special moves and abilities in battle, listing commands and their effects, like Goombario's Tattle to learn enemy info, and Cooper's shell attacks. The page uses screenshots to illustrate gameplay and battles, showcasing the unique paper-based visual style of Paper Mario. It sets the scene for the game, highlighting the teamwork aspect with Mario and his diverse companions. This page focuses on the game Paper Mario, Mario's story in Japan. It highlights Princess Peach's playable role in the game, where she must gather information and items to aid Mario in his quest. The page introduces Tink, a star character who acts as a messenger between Peach and Mario. The article explains that Bowser has captured the 7 star spirits and stolen the Star Rod, granting him immense power. With this power, Bowser has taken Princess Peach to his castle, and Mario must rescue her. The page emphasizes Bowser's incredible strength and his minions' unwavering belief in his power. The page also touches on Bowser's history in Mario games, showcasing his recurring role as the antagonist and his relationship with Mario and Peach. A screenshot from Mario Tennis is also included, hinting at Bowser's presence in other Mario spin-off titles. This page is about the growth system in Mario's story, Paper Mario in the West. It details the level-up system, which is called the growth system. The page explains that Mario gains experience points called star points by defeating enemies. Once 100 star points are accumulated, Mario levels up, and the player can choose to increase either HP, heart points, FP, flower points, or BP, badge points. It describes each stat. HP, heart points, represents Mario's vitality and decreases when taking damage. FP, flower points, used for special attacks and badge abilities. BP, badge points, necessary to equip badges, which grant special abilities. The page highlights that HP and FP increase by 5 points per level up, while BP increases by 3 points per level up. It also mentions that by using badges, Mario can further customize his abilities and fighting style, and that badges require BP to equip. Screenshots show gameplay examples of Mario battling enemies and menu screens, illustrating the stats and badge system. One screenshot depicts Mario in a house, possibly indicating healing or resting. The page emphasizes that understanding and managing these stats is key to progressing through the game. This page is about strategies in a Mario RPG, likely referring to Super Mario RPG, which was released in Japan. The page discusses how to develop Mario's stats, specifically HP and BP. It explains that at level up, players can choose to increase HP, FP, or BP. The page outlines 2 main development paths, HP-focused and BP-focused builds. An HP-focused build makes Mario more resistant to damage, allowing players to be less concerned about taking hits, while a BP-focused build allows Mario to equip more badges, granting various special abilities and techniques. However, a BP focus means Mario will have lower HP and will need to avoid taking damage by utilizing strategic and efficient combat tactics. The page also introduces badges as items found in the field or purchased in shops, and star pieces, which can be exchanged for badges. Badges can provide various effects, both in the field and in battle. Finally, there's a section about Luigi's history in the Mario series, noting his debut in the game Mario Bros., and mentioning that Super Mario RPG marked his last appearance in the Super Mario series at the time of this publication, referring to Super Mario Bros. 3. This page is all about the battle system in the game Mario Story, known as Paper Mario internationally. It highlights how battles are turn-based and controlled by commands. You select commands from a menu on the right, including Strategy, Item, Jump, Hammer, Technique, and Star Power. Jump and Hammer are Mario-specific attack commands. The Technique command is for partner characters, and Star Power uses special abilities. The page emphasizes action commands, which boost attack and defense. It details timing-based button presses to enhance attacks or defense, showcasing examples for Mario's Jump, Hammer, and partner moves. For Jump, moves like Mario Jump or Super Jump, you press the A button right before landing on an enemy. For Hammer, and similar moves like Spin Hammer, you press A repeatedly within a time limit. For defense, you press A just before an enemy attack lands to reduce damage. Screenshots show gameplay examples of these timed button presses and the resulting damage numbers. Paper Mario, or Mario Story, features several sub-events beyond the main storyline. Players can help Naoko with errands for rewards, participate in the Radio de Go game for gifts, and access a playground south of Kanoko Town to obtain panel cards and coins. Successfully answering Mario Story quizzes unlocks star pieces. Other sub-events include delivering letters with Poco and Poco, training at the dojo in Kanoko Town for titles, and cooking with Kashi-san to create dishes with various effects. A side story explores Peach's history and relationships. This page is a story explanation for Paper Mario. It details the flow of the game starting from the Mushroom Castle party, where Mario is invited with Luigi. Bowser and Kammy Koopa crash the party and kidnap Princess Peach. Mario must then embark on a quest to save her. The page describes the stages: Mushroom Castle, Goomba Village, Marin Road, and Mushroom Town. It introduces enemy characters, such as Kammy Koopa, Killers, Killer Cannons, Goomba King, Goombas, and Paragoombas, providing their stats like HP, attack power, and defense, along with tips on how to defeat them and where to find them in the game. The next page appears to be a strategy guide for Paper Mario. Sections 36 cover getting the hammer and starting the adventure, explaining how Kamemyopa blocks the village entrance, and Mario needs to get the hammer from Kolbo to break the blocks. Section 79 discuss King Goomba, describing him as a bit of a fool, not very strong, and more of a comedic character. It advises focusing on attacking the weaker Goomba brothers first, before targeting King Goomba himself. Sections 11-12 mention listening to the Star Spirit's wish, where Mario is asked to help the Star Spirits, who have been captured by Koopa. Sections 13-14 deals with encountering a suspicious black toad in Toad Town, and the text questions whether it's a fake or real, suggesting something is amiss. The page also lists enemy information including Koopa, Koopa 2, Chomp Chomp, Spiked Goomba, Koopa Troopa, Paragoomba, Paratroopa, Bob-omb, Dark Goomba, Dark Spiked Goomba, Goomba, Spiked Goomba, Spiked Goomba, Stone Chomper, and Stone Chomper, detailing their HP, attack power, defense, and location within the game, providing basic combat tips for each. The next page is a strategy guide for Stage 1 of Paper Mario, titled Conquest, Nokonoko Bros Fortress. The guide details the stage flow, outlining steps like hitting a tree near a dead end to reveal a switch in Poco Poco Road, and talking to Kamex in a trembling house in Nokonoko Village. It focuses on a section in Nokonoko Village and Korriban, where Korriban creatures have hidden Koopa Troopa shells. Mario is asked by Kamex to retrieve the shells by chasing the Korribans, who hide in 4 trees. Mario needs to hammer the trees 3 times to get the shells back, and then give them to Kamex to make him a partner. The guide features a badge data section, detailing various badges obtainable in the game, including Gutsy Jump, a badge obtained in Kurikuri Village from Kurijiro, Coin Medal. A badge found on the first floor of Nokonoko Bros Fortress. Earthquake Attack, a badge obtained in the middle of Goss Goss Mountain. Spin, a badge sold at the Rotten Shop in Kanoko Town. Tsukitsuki Jump, a badge sold at the Rotten Shop in Kanoko Town. Tsurara Snagwer, a badge obtained in Kanoko Town. Nice to Bow, a badge obtained in Goss Goss Mountain. Nigate Memora, a badge obtained in Karakara Desert. Page. The page provides information about badge effects, BP, FP, attack power, range, AC, and timing. It also shows screenshots from Paper Mario gameplay, including battles and dialogue scenes in forest and village areas. The next page is a strategy guide page for the game Paper Mario. It provides tips for different sections of the game. One section describes infiltrating a castle with Nokobros enemies, where keys are hidden in rooms or dropped by enemies. Another section is about rescuing Pinky, a pink bomb character, who can destroy walls to help Mario escape a trap-filled area. There's a tip on using Kamek, to activate a remote red switch by throwing him. Finally, it advises players to defeat killer enemies before the boss battle, suggesting jumping and moving to avoid unnecessary fights. The page also lists various badges from Paper Mario with their effects, BP and FP costs, and how to obtain them, such as Heart Feel, Hammer Charge, Hammer Nagel, and more, highlighting their in-game benefits and locations. This guide covers Stage 2, Mystery of the Arabian Ruins, in Paper Mario. The stage begins at Kanoko Castle, where Princess Peach must find a secret passage and read Bowser's diary. This reveals that a star child is imprisoned in the Arabian ruins in Karakara Desert. Mario travels from Kanoko Town to Gatsu Mountain, where he helps Pallet the mailman. He then journeys through Karakara Desert to Karakara Town, gathering information and the Pick-a-Stone. The guide also details Princess Peach's actions in Bowser's castle. Finally, it provides star piece data, listing the locations and methods for collecting star pieces throughout various areas like Nokonoko Village, Kurikuri Village, Melon Road, Kinoko Town, and Hoshi no Furuoka. This page showcases gameplay tips and item information for Paper Mario. It highlights specific scenes within the game, starting with a scenario about clearing a railway blockage in Kinoko Town using Pinky. Another section details finding Paletta the postman's letter in Gatsu Mountain, outlining 3 different routes involving Kamehameha and sliding. The guide then moves on to Karakara Town and getting information about the parent of Lorenchu, involving an Oasis Lemon and information from an item shop. Finally, it touches on the appearance of an ancient ruin when using Pika Pika Stone given by Lorenchu's parent. The page also includes an item data section listing various items like Super Kinoko, Stone Bushi, Honey Syrup, Fire Flower, and Lemon, along with their in-game effects such as HP and FP recovery, or enemy-related effects. This page is a guide to mastering different tennis shots in Mario Tennis 64. It highlights how to execute topspin, slice, and flat shots using button combinations. For topspin, pressing A or A plus A creates a shot that bounces high, ideal for shots near the net or making it difficult for opponents to return a smash. The slice shot, using B or B plus B, is the opposite, creating a low bounce and making rallies easier. The flat shot, with A plus B, is a fast, straight shot, perfect for aces during serves or for aggressive play. The guide emphasizes mastering these shot variations to improve your tennis game strategy. It also includes strategy data, which suggests a clear time of 20 hours. Difficulty is rated as 3 stars and recommends the game for everyone. The official Nintendo website address is also listed. This page is a strategy guide for Mario Tennis 64, titled Mario Tennis 64 Battle Lecture, aimed at helping players win more matches. It focuses on teaching advanced techniques and aiming for specific courses on the court. The page details several shot types, including the lob, which is described as a high shot over the opponent's head, effective against opponents at the net but risky if the opponent is ready for a smash. The drop shot section explains it's a slow, short shot designed to land just over the net, useful for bringing opponents to the net, but risky if they anticipate it. The main section, Aiming Shots, explains how to control shot direction using the 3D stick to hit left and right. It emphasizes that the 3D stick only controls left and right direction, and not depth. It also mentions that even when hitting the same spot, the angle and position of Mario on the court will influence the ball's trajectory, advising players to adjust their angle accordingly. The page highlights practicing shot placement to improve accuracy. The page includes screenshots demonstrating these techniques in Mario Tennis 64. The next page is dedicated to gameplay tips for Mario Tennis 64. It details strategies for slice and topspin shots, noting that net play effectiveness depends on the character being used. The page also explains how to power up shots for more impact, and emphasizes hitting the ball at the optimal height for greater power and depth. It warns against hitting the ball while moving downwards, as this reduces shot strength. The screenshots illustrate various gameplay scenarios in Mario Tennis 64, and feature characters like Mario, Luigi, Donkey Kong, and Peach. This text outlines tennis counter skills, primarily focusing on exploiting opponent weaknesses through strategic shot placement. Strategies include targeting an opponent's weaker backhand and using deceptive swing direction. The text then shifts to a court-specific analysis within Mario Tennis 64, describing 7 unique court types. Hard court offers a balanced experience. Clay court favors precision due to a low bounce. Grass court prioritizes speed. Carpet court is conducive to power players with a high bounce. Special courts include Mario Brothers, Baby Mario and Yoshi, and Donkey Kong courts, each unlocked by winning the Mushroom Cup with specific characters and having distinct ball speed and bounce characteristics. Finally, the text concludes by stating, Donkey Kong is considered strong and Waluigi weak. This page is a character spotlight for Mario Tennis 64, focusing on Mario and Wario. It describes Mario as an all-around player with no weaknesses, noting his balanced stats make him easy to use for beginners, recommending a strategy of rallying and aiming for open spaces. Wario, on the other hand, is presented as a power-based character excelling in stroke play, with powerful shots but shorter reach and slower movement. The page highlights his strong serve and topspin shots, advising players to use drop shots and lobs against him due to his net play weakness. It also mentions unlockable characters in the game via winning tournaments, and the option to play as left-handed characters by holding L button during character selection, impacting slice and topspin directions. This page details character strategies for Mario Tennis 64, focusing on Luigi, Waluigi, Peach, and Daisy. Luigi has a long reach but slow movement, excelling at stroke battles. Exploit his weak volley power by forcing him to the net. Waluigi boasts the longest reach. Target the sidelines and go to the net often. Peach, a rising shot specialist, lacks power, so hit the ball at its peak. Daisy, similar to Peach, uses slices with good curve and benefits from playing near the baseline and utilizing net play when possible. Both Peach and Daisy are not power types, and their comb strategies involve exploiting shot timing, aiming for side-to-side movement, and strong shots. This page is all about Mario Tennis for the Nintendo 64, showcasing character profiles and gameplay strategies. It focuses on 4 characters, Baby Mario, Pinocchio, Toad, Yoshi, and Catherine, Birdo, each presented with an ability analysis table, detailing their strengths and weaknesses in areas like serve speed, movement, reaction, reach, ball spin, shot speed and accuracy, and stopping power. For Baby Mario, the analysis emphasizes his fast footwork and strong shots, making him suited for stroke play. His maximum serve speed is 164 km per hour, and his movement speed is rated B. Pinocchio, Toad, is described as small in stature, which affects his reach, but is still good for net play. He focuses on pinpoint shots and strategic play rather than power. With a maximum serve speed of 145 km per hour and movement rated A, Yoshi is highlighted for his speed and corner-focused gameplay. He's best for stroke play, particularly using topspin shots, with a serve speed of 155 km per hour and exceptional movement rated Special A. Catherine, Birdo, is a power-focused character, similar to Yoshi in stroke play, but relying more on slices and topspin with powerful shots. Her serve speed is 160 km per hour, and her movement speed is also rated Special A. Each character section also includes calm battle tactics, offering advice on how to play against computer opponents using each character's strengths and weaknesses, focusing on stroke play and strategic shot selection. This page provides strategy tips for the Nintendo 64 game Mario Tennis 64. It focuses on 4 playable characters: Donkey Kong, Koopa Troopa, Pada Pada, Paratroopa, and Teresa, Boo. For each character, there's a capability analysis chart outlining their strengths and weaknesses in areas like serve speed, movement, reach, ball curve, and shot accuracy. The page details tactics for playing against the computer, with each character, highlighting their individual playstyles and strategies to utilize their unique skills to win matches. Donkey Kong is described as power-focused, Koopa Troopa as well-rounded, Patata Patata as technical, and Teresa as tricky with spin shots. Screenshots of the game are shown demonstrating gameplay for each character. Mario Tennis 64 features character profiles for Donkey Kong Jr. and Hey-Ho. Donkey Kong Jr. is a powerful character with a fast serve and strong reach, while Hey-Ho offers excellent shot accuracy and stopping power. Playing strategies differ. Donkey Kong Jr. should play aggressively at the net, while Hey-Ho excels from the baseline. The game includes Pacoon Challenge, a challenge to hit 50 consecutive serves. The Cuppa stage introduces a super unique mode with item integration and a tilted court. Players are advised to strategically use the court's slope and items, such as the Teresa and Waligi, Patapata, items, to gain an advantage, especially against calm opponents. This page announces a ringshot contest for Mario Tennis 64. The contest is for the special game mode and requires players to enter a password, 2EGAX62E. The challenge is to play the ringshot game for 3 minutes. Tips for high scores include hitting easy-to-catch balls for your opponent and utilizing lob and drop shots. It also details how to use item boxes during the game, explaining the effects of 6 different items: acorn, green shell, banana, mushroom, star, and thunder. Finally, the page explains how to apply to the contest by sending a postcard with the password and game score. This page is about the game GQ Powerful Pro Yakyu 2000, a baseball game for the N64, which was only released in Japan. It analyzes strong teams in the game and the players within them. The first section notes that players created in Power Pocket 2, another baseball game in the series, are proving to be strong in this game as well, with many people using them. The second section highlights the Inokari Concern team as being very popular amongst representative teams. It shows a breakdown of player origins from different in-game companies, with Inokari Concern being the most popular source of players. The third section asks what kind of players are in representative teams. It looks at the special abilities of players, noting popular skills for pitchers and fielders. It describes typical player profiles for pitchers and fielders, created in Power Pocket 2, emphasizing high basic abilities and special skills, like heavy ball and clutch hitting for pitchers, and versatile outfielders for fielders. It also mentions password information, for example players and team setups. This page is a strategy guide for Kirby 64, the Crystal Shards, focusing on how to obtain all the crystals hidden within levels 1 and 2, as well as boss strategies. It explains that collecting all crystals in levels up to level 6 will lead to the true ending and final boss encounter. The guide highlights point tips for each stage, such as using the bomb ability to break blocks in stage 11 to get a crystal, using the cutter ability to inhale bullets from King Dedede in stage 12, and finding the 3-star marks in stage 21. It also gives strategy tips for battling Wispy Woods Jr. and the final form of Wispy Woods, emphasizing safe positions and attack methods. The page also includes game data, such as an estimated clear time of 8 hours, a difficulty rating of 2 stars, and target audience as kids, noting its ease of play for a wide range of ages. It mentions estimated sales figures of 850,000 units. This guide offers strategies for Kirby 64, the Crystal Shards, focusing on level 2, Holohobita Star, and level 3, Volhan Star. On Holohobita Star, players should utilize Stone and Spark abilities, navigating gaps with Spark Bomb, and using Room Garter and Tail to find crystals. In a dark room, use Spark Bomb to reveal paintings and activate a switch. For Volhan Star, Ice Bomb is key to breaking blocks from below, while Burning Stone helps defeat Room Garter Dekakani. Players should also utilize Stonecutter and Rick to climb walls and carefully navigate a seabed to collect crystals. Boss battle tips include avoiding damage and matching bullet colors to defeat Pintix. For Acro, stay at the top of the screen, attack when the boss is stationary, and use smaller enemies to attack during the second phase. Escape the boss's whirlpool by mashing buttons. This page is a strategy guide for Kirby 64, the Crystal Shards. It details levels 4 and 5, named Kore Karasuta and Buru Buru Suta, providing hints for each stage and boss battle within these levels. For level 4, Kore Karasuta, Stage 1 advises players to fall into a specific pit and utilize the needle ability. Stage 2 notes that copy abilities are restricted in this stage, suggesting the Stone Bomb ability. Stage 3 involves drawing pictures with blocks, and mentions Pizza, Silk Hat, and Umbrella abilities. Stage 4 highlights a pillar behind King Dedede, and suggests using the Ice ability. The boss fight against Yogan involves inhaling magma, attacking with tentacles, and using rocks to hit the face when a rock barrier appears. Moving on to level 5, Buru Buru Suta, Stage 1 directs players to a crystal located on top of a tunnel and recommends the Burning ability. Stage 2 instructs players to fall from a hole to the left, using the Spark Needle ability. Stage 3 is about matching fruit colors, strawberry, chestnut, and peach, melon, grape, lemon, and orange, and recommends the spark cutter ability. Stage 4 focuses on breaking blocks from the side and suggests the stone needle ability. Finally, the boss fight against HRE advises players to avoid laser attacks by staying at the edge of the screen and to inhale rocks to attack. In the later part of the battle, players should inhale missiles and counterattack. This guide provides strategies for boss battles in Kirby 64. The Crystal Shards, specifically focusing on Ripple Star and Final Star. In Ripple Star, strategies for 3 stages are outlined. Stage 1 emphasizes the needle ability. Stage 2 recommends spark, cutter, or needle, and Stage 3 suggests burning needle. The guide then details the Miracle Matter boss fight, breaking down its 7 forms, their attack patterns, and the most effective ability to use against each: needle, bomb, burning, spark, cutter, stone, ice. Finally, it covers the final boss, 0 to the power of 2, a 3D shooting stage. It describes the controls and offers strategies for both phases of the fight, emphasizing dodging attacks, hitting weak points, the eye in Phase 1 and the ring in Phase 2, and utilizing the rolling technique. This page is all about tips and tricks for mastering Excitebike 64. It highlights 2 essential techniques: the boost turbo for maximum jump distance and the brake turn for sharp cornering using the 3D stick. The page then dives into course strategies for 2 specific environments: the rainforest and the gravel pit. For the rainforest course, the advice focuses on landing smoothly after jumps on the small hills, using boost turbos for longer jumps, and controlling the bike in the air to land well on the downhill sections due to the slippery surface. There are tips for negotiating continuous jumps over rivers and aiming for high jumps over small hills before goal lines. For the gravel pit course, the tips address the narrow roads and varied elevations. It warns about the dangers of hitting the walls or rivals, and mentions a tunnel shortcut after a ramp. It also advises to use jumps to clear train tracks that act as shortcuts to the goal. Essentially, this page is a mini-guide to improving your Excitebike 64 skills on these challenging courses. This page features strategy tips for the Nintendo 64 game Excitebike 64. It details advice for 4 different courses: Gold Mine, Construction, Seattle, Washington, and Blizzard Bridge. For Gold Mine, the tips cover using jump ramps for shortcuts, being careful when cornering due to cliffs, and jumping over chasms using boost. The construction section warns about construction equipment on the track. It advises players to consider landing points when jumping and to break through advertisements for shortcuts. Seattle, Washington tips focus on using boost turbos for jumps at course intersections, accelerating sufficiently before jumps, and using drifts to navigate corners quickly. Finally, for Blizzard Bridge, the guide recommends using boost turbos for high jumps, finding shortcut entrances on the right side, and noting the shortcut route entrances also require boost. This page focuses on Ganbare Nippon Olympic 2000 for the N64, a game where you compete in various Olympic sports to win gold medals for Japan. The page provides gameplay tips and strategies for 4 hidden events. The hidden events are unlocked by meeting specific conditions in the initially available events. The page details tips for mastering button mashing techniques, timing your presses, and staying calm under pressure. It emphasizes practicing button mashing to achieve consistent speed, learning the timing for visual cues in events, using comfortable button layouts, and maintaining composure to avoid mistakes that can cost you a gold medal. Specific event tips are given for the triple jump and the clay shooting event. For the triple jump, timing is crucial for each jump to achieve a great rating, requiring at least 1 great and 1 good jump to secure a gold medal. For clay shooting, the focus is on timing the shot accurately to hit the clay pigeon. The page also includes general advice like persevering and challenging yourself repeatedly to win gold medals in all events and become an Olympic master. There is also a suggestion to use button layout configurations for comfortable gameplay. The article mentions that while fast button mashing speed isn't essential, achieving great status in jumps is vital for distance in the triple jump. This guide provides tips for 3 Summer Olympics game events. In the 100 meters breaststroke, rhythmic button presses timed with a gauge control swimming speed. Aim for good or better to avoid bad ratings and win a gold medal. For vault, achieve a score of 9.70 for gold. Performing 2E difficulty techniques boosts scores. Gauge speed is fast, so slightly suppress rapid button presses. For trap shooting, shoot clays quickly when framed green for bonus points. Shooting 2 clays simultaneously adds 10 points. The challenge increases as more clays are launched per round, and each successive clay hit awards more points. Manage your limited ammunition carefully. This guide details the strategy for Area 1 of Doraemon 3. Nobita's Town SOS. On the N64, a Japan-exclusive game. The goal is to collect 4 key crystals to rescue Shizuka. Found in Kurika Forest, Demello Cave, Dezun Lake, Guiren Mountain, and Mars Cave. Each location requires specific actions and items. Kurika Forest uses Hanasaka powder and a cutting machine. Demello Cave employs light moss and card keys to fight robots. And Dezun Lake necessitates aerotube and a water gun. Guiren Mountain demands a jackhammer and kusurishu for a boss fight. Mars Cave involves water currents, switches, and fighting Sister, using gas spray or mud dumplings. The guide emphasizes the importance of collecting and using Inochi no Mi, life fruit, for health, and encourages item respawning through area transitions. Dezun Lake is recommended for item gathering. Specific tools and strategies are advised for each location. This strategy guide for Area 2 of Doraemon 3 focuses on destroying barrier generators and rescuing Tsuneo. It details navigating several locations, including the First Basement, Zebra Desert, Dessa's Amusement Park, Fabin's Cave, Minute Seijin Town, and Metal Tower. Players should utilize specific items like the Almighty Pass, Gene Mike, Sun Clothes, Mechanical Wind-Up Box, Eskimo Extract, Hole Penetrating Light, Honest Gourd, Small Light, and Cloud Solidifier Gas to overcome traps, enemies, and puzzles. The guide highlights strategic item usage within each area, emphasizing the need for Scarecrow clothes in Fabin's Cave, navigating quicksand in Zebra Desert, and using the Ferris wheel in Dessa's Amusement Park. The final section focuses on the boss battle against Snagger, recommending the penetrating pistol and emphasizing avoiding Snagger's attacks. Treasure chests mostly provide consumable items, so prioritizing game progression is advised. This strategy guide for Legendary Fishing 64 details gameplay advice for various scenarios and characters. The Father/Kinji edition focuses on obtaining the Kaijin approval item through a quest involving a lost ring. The Mother Yumiko edition explains the Stone Note, outlining how to collect colored stones scattered across different locations like houses and parks. The Sister/Sayaka edition offers tips on interacting with Kappa Hirotaka to receive helpful items for catching rare fish. General advice includes obtaining the Nushi map by collecting 7 shining stones and visiting an old man. Catching Nushi fish involves using specific bait and timing your rod pulls. Locations of stones and keys are provided, with hints on how to obtain them through specific actions and interactions with characters and treasure chests. This page appears to be a game guide page, possibly for a Nintendo 64 title, focused on a fishing minigame element. It details 2 scenarios. VS Mother Yumiko chapter, centered around collecting ingredients for a Morocco hot pot, and VS Sister Ayumi chapter, focused on gathering items for tropical fish breeding. For the Morocco hot pot, the guide lists necessary ingredients and flowers needed to complete something called green sleeves. These ingredients are sourced from various locations, including Hokkaido remote islands and breakwaters. The tropical fish breeding section lists required items like an aquarium tank and water thermometer, found in Hawaii. The page also provides fishing tips, stating that Morocco fish are found inshore and are relatively easy to catch using okiyami shrimp as bait. A section titled Keys to Obtain lists different keys and their locations within the game, like the yellow key found with a girl fishing on the map in Hokkaido's remote island, and a guitar-shaped key near the sea, in a red treasure box in front of the sea bream hideout. Finally, the guide explains how to calm the southern sea breeze, indicating a need to meet a princess at Ryugu Castle. This involves helping a turtle in Hawaii by getting medicine from an inn guest and curing the turtle's injury, which then allows access to Ryugu Castle. The next page is a strategy guide for Pocket Monsters Gold and Silver, focusing on secrets within the game. It highlights a status condition called Pokerus that can affect Pokemon after battles. The page explains Pokerus spreads to other Pokemon in your party, is not harmful, and even slightly increases stat growth. It also details hidden effects of moves when used in specific weather conditions like hair, sunny, and ame, rain. For example, during sunny weather, recovery moves are doubled, and Solar Beam can be used without charging. The page also reveals Celebi's type as Esper/Grass, and touches on Pokemon breeding as a way to raise Pokemon. This page is a strategy guide for Wario Land 3, subtitled Mysterious Music Box. It highlights the game's core mechanic, where Wario reacts to enemy attacks in unique ways, which is key to progressing through the game. The guide points out that understanding and utilizing these reactions is crucial for success. It provides game data stating the estimated clear time is 10 hours, the difficulty is medium, and it's recommended for players who enjoy playing as villains. It also mentions estimated sales figures of 310,000 copies and directs readers to the official Nintendo website. The page then details various reactions Wario can have when attacked, such as being flattened, swollen, set on fire, becoming a zombie, turning into Dracula, having an inflated face, becoming a spring, turning invisible, or becoming a snowman. Each reaction is explained along with how it can be used to overcome obstacles or progress in the game, mentioning specific items related to each reaction. Finally, a chart for reaching the ending is presented, listing stage names and obtainable items, suggesting a recommended play order. It also reveals that upon clearing the game, a golf minigame can be unlocked by collecting 7 rainbow crayons. The next page is a strategy guide for Power Pro Kun Pocket 2. It details tips for clearing the War mode, which involves recruiting 5 players. A significant part of the guide focuses on the Curse Island stage, which is a minefield challenge where players must collect items and power-ups while avoiding mines. The page provides tactical advice for navigating these minefields, including a 121 rule, and methods for counting surrounding mines to determine safe paths. It also explains events that can occur on the western and southern front lines, which are generally negative events to be aware of. Daijiobu Island is also featured, explaining the success rates of events there depending on the difficulty level chosen. In essence, this page is a tactical guide for surviving and progressing in the war mode of Power Pro Kun Pocket 2, particularly focusing on the minefield gameplay of Curse Island and other strategic elements. This page showcases 2 Game Boy Color titles. The first section is about Metal Gear Ghost Babel, highlighting the stealth gameplay. It explains how to avoid enemy detection by understanding their line of sight and being mindful of sound. Screenshots illustrate enemy vision and sneaking mechanics. The second section covers Survival Kids 2, Dashutsu Futagoshima, which was not released outside of Japan. It focuses on item crafting as a key survival element. The page details how to obtain and use items found in the game, emphasizing resource management for survival. Screenshots show gameplay environments and a recipe list for crafting tools like fishing rods, axes, torches, and more, explaining the required materials for each. This page focuses on game strategy guides, featuring 2 titles. First, there's Mr. Driller, offering tips for the 1000 meters mode. It breaks down the strategy by depth ranges, suggesting continuous drilling in the initial 300 meters, air refills around 400 meters, focusing on direction and visibility between 500,000 800 meters, and prioritizing speed in the final stretch to 1,000 meters, all aiming for the True Driller title by scoring over 550,000 points with no misses and a 3-life bonus. The second game highlighted is Balloon Fight GB for Game Boy, focusing on gameplay and controls, featuring the character Alice. It emphasizes getting used to the unique momentum-based controls and jump techniques, advising players to avoid over-moving and to utilize vertical jumps in specific situations to evade enemies, and also details collision detection with enemies and balloons. This hot game preview reviews 3 Nintendo 64 titles. Mario Tennis 64, Nintendo, July 21st, 6,800 yen. Earns a 9/10 from Yuno Kome for its accessible yet deep tennis gameplay, various modes, and party appeal. Doraemon 3, Nobita's Town SOS. Epoch, July 28th, 6,800 yen. Reviewed by Takami Ryuji, scores a 7/10. It's praised for its strong sound design and controls, though its lack of events is a minor drawback. Finally, Mario Story, Nintendo, August 11th, 6,800 yen, with a 9/10 from Sasaki Marieri, is highlighted as a summer vacation RPG with customizable characters and strategic battles. The review uses a rating system where 9/10 means very fun and you should buy it. This page is a game preview for the Nintendo 64 game Mystery Dungeon, Shiren the Wanderer 2, focusing on a new system called Monster Companions. The article highlights that in this game, unlike the previous Shiren the Wanderer, you can befriend monsters to fight alongside you. It mentions that monsters are caught and kept in a monster pot and can be summoned to help Shiren in battle. The article explains that these monster companions have special abilities and will help Shiren fight, even leveling up as you progress. It points out that friendly monsters will have a heart mark above their head to distinguish them. Two new monsters, Mr. Boone and Pio, are introduced with their special abilities. Mr. Boone is a plant monster that runs away quickly, but drops useful herbs when defeated. Pio is described as an annoying enemy that can prevent Shiren from using items, reading scrolls, or eating food and herbs. This page is about using monster jars to catch monsters in a game. It introduces the monster jar as a new tool to capture monsters and explains how to use it. To catch a monster, you need to throw the jar at it, but it's not always guaranteed to work and might fail. The page also details a place called Mononoke Kingdom, which is where you can keep the monsters you've captured. This kingdom allows you to house and manage your collected monsters. You can also examine detailed data about the monsters in the Mononoke Kingdom by looking at the signs in front of their cages, learning about their special abilities and weaknesses. There are examples of monsters highlighted. Pikotan, who uses a hammer and is sensitive to traps. Kero Kero Bozu, who weakens weapons with rain and can fly. And Teppo War, who shoots water and can soak items. The page uses screenshots to show how to throw the monster jar and gameplay scenarios featuring these monsters and their abilities. This page is focused on monster level UPS in Shiren the Wanderer 2. It highlights that monsters in this game can level up to 4 stages, becoming significantly stronger and more formidable. The page details that monsters level up not only by defeating the player, but also through other means, making them a constant threat. The concept of nigiri change is explained, where monsters transform into different types of nigiri, rice balls, each with unique properties. Nigiri Parent makes Shiren into a nigiri and negates counterattacks. Nigiri Follower transforms Shiren into nigiri and increases attack power, and an unknown type of nigiri change is teased. The page also introduces the Monster House, a room densely packed with monsters, and mentions new types of monsters appearing in these houses. Specific monster types are showcased, including Jiraiya, who leaves landmines when defeated, Kengao, who can deflect shields and cause increased damage, and Imadaten, who moves twice as fast as Shiren, emphasizing the need to defeat them quickly. This page is all about the upcoming threat of the Oni tribe and their island Onigashima, in what appears to be a preview for Mystery Dungeon, Shiren the Wanderer 2. The page highlights the Oni tribe, describing them as mischievous beings who love to cause trouble and steal treasures from nearby villages. They are based on Onigashima Island, and the article suggests that players might even get to invade this island and drive them out. Key characters from the Oni tribe are introduced: Oyabun, who seems to be the leader, Kira, a female Oni, and Garaha, the older brother of the Oni. Screenshots showcase the game's perspective and action, depicting the Oni attacking what is likely Shiren's castle and nearby villages. Monster profiles feature Pitsu Priest and Tiger Uho. The Pitsu Priest can cast a spell that cuts Shiren's HP in half, making future adventures more challenging. The Tiger Uho is shown to be able to pick up and throw Shiren, or even other monsters to use as projectiles. It looks like the Oni tribe is causing serious trouble for Shiren and his world. This page is a promotional preview for the N64 game Pokemon Stadium Gold Silver, which was released internationally as Pokemon Stadium 2. It highlights that this version will allow players to use Pokemon from the Gold and Silver games in 3D battles. The page emphasizes that all Pokemon trainers nationwide have been waiting for this, as it allows battles with Gold and Silver Pokemon within Pokesuda, Pokemon Stadium. The game is set to be released in December, but the price is yet to be determined. The page showcases screenshots featuring battles with Pokemon like Pikachu, Entei, who is mentioned as being popular from the movie, Marill, and Unknown. It points out that Pichu, a popular Pokemon, will also be available, and is rendered in 3Ds to be cute. It mentions that Pokemon Stadium Gold Silver will have greatly powered up graphics compared to the Game Boy versions, and will feature heated battles. It also questions if all 26 types of Unknown will be usable in this game. This page showcases features of the game Pokemon Stadium 2. It highlights the enhanced visual effects of moves in 3D. The page features screenshots of battles, including Chikorita using Razor Leaf, Hitmontop using High Jump Kick, and Cyndaquil using Flamethrower. The text emphasizes how these moves are now visually more impactful and impressive compared to previous games. The page also mentions that shiny Pokemon can be used in the game, as shown with a red Gyarados, and confirms that Pokemon from the previous game, Pokemon Stadium, are also usable in Pokemon Stadium 2. Pikachu is featured in a yellow box with the text, "Pikachu is also usable." The text describes Pokemon Stadium 2 as featuring gold and silver Pokemon and notes the improved 3D graphics and effects for moves, aiming to excite players about seeing their favorite moves in action with enhanced visuals. This Genius Creator Speaks page focuses on Shigeru Miyamoto's development of The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time for the Nintendo 64. Miyamoto discusses the game's lengthy development, attributing it to the evolving capabilities of 3D technology, allowing for improvements in elements like enemy counts. The page highlights key features and Miyamoto's design philosophy. Miyamoto's check sections delve into the game's immersive qualities, dwelling sensation, the revolutionary Z-targeting system, and the importance of non-dungeon elements, Zelda-ness, possible mechanisms, like minigames and fishing. These elements contribute to the unique Zelda experience. The page, illustrated with screenshots, praises Miyamoto's vision in transitioning the series into 3Ds. This page delves into the history of the Legend of Zelda series, leading up to Ocarina of Time. It mentions that Shigeru Miyamoto's core concept for Zelda has remained consistent since the original Famicom game released in 1986, even noting the famous detail about Link being left-handed, because Miyamoto is also left-handed. The page showcases screenshots from classic Zelda titles: The Legend of Zelda, Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link, A Link to the Past, and Link's Awakening. It then discusses the evolution of game systems, particularly focusing on the necessity of the Z-targeting system in 3D games like Ocarina of Time, contrasting it with Super Mario 64. It also examines the camera system, highlighting improvements made in Ocarina of Time compared to Mario 64, although acknowledging that a perfect camera is still elusive. Miyamoto also shares his thoughts on remaking Ocarina of Time, suggesting the main focus would be to reduce the overwhelming amount of information for the player in such a vast world. Finally, the page includes a promotion for a signed copy of Ocarina of Time and a small section called A Little Bit of Miyamoto-san, pointing out that players can freely play the ocarina in the game, a detail fitting for music-loving Miyamoto. This page from the magazine focuses on Excitebike 64 and presents itself as the Ura Kenkyujo, or back research center for the game. It reveals secret passwords to unlock various effects in the game. A table lists these passwords, such as Kids Rider for big head mode, Midnight for night courses, Pinhead for small head mode, and Bike Take, where only the bike is visible. Other passwords include 10TENTORE for 10-point lead soccer, Henairo to change rider colors, HYAAAAAAA for downhill courses, Trickster for all stunts, and Game Yoroni for the strongest opponent. The page also includes screenshots of the game and a manga strip related to the game. It encourages players to use these passwords to enhance their Excitebike 64 experience. This page reveals secrets for Fishing Master 64. It explains how to unlock Poochie, a dog, as a playable fifth main character. To unlock Poochie, you need to become friends with Kenji in the game and clear all 4 main character scenarios. Playing as Poochie allows you to talk to animals and explore small holes within the game world. The page also details hidden songs in GB Poppin' Music GB, in arcade mode, by achieving 85,000 points or more in stages 1 and 2 on both normal and expert difficulties. Hidden songs will appear on the stage 3 selection screen. Specifically for Poppin', in original mode on normal and another difficulties, there are 2 hidden songs. Clear 6 stages with 85,000 points or more, and stage 7, Kietanapolitan, will appear. Then clear 7 stages with 85,000 points or more to unlock stage 8, Love Accordion. The page visually shows characters transforming into dogs, expressing enthusiasm about playing Fishing Master as a dog. This page highlights cheat codes for various games. For Game Boy Power Pro Pocket 2, it reveals how to unlock the hidden player character Fuyo in success mode. For Game Boy Ojarumaru Manton Shrine no Enichi de Ojaru, it explains button inputs to unlock 2 minigames. Moving to N64 titles. For Top Gear Hyperbike, a cheat code is detailed to unlock all bikes in the game. Finally, for Daikatana on N64, a code is provided to access all weapons right from the start. There is also a comic strip at the bottom, with characters discussing sports and gaming. This page is showcasing Urawaza, or secret tips and tricks for various Nintendo 64 games and even a Game Boy title. For GQ Powerful Pro Yakyu 2000, there are 2 tips. One for getting Ichiro to throw a ball to the stands as a fan service, and another to perform a fence climbing catch. For GB Power Pro Pocket 2, a tip is revealed on how to see a bad ending in the game. Top Gear Hyperbike has a cheat code to unlock all courses easily. Kirby 64. The Crystal Shards features a trick about pausing during the final boss battle, which can lead to the game not being pausable afterwards. Virtual Pro Wrestling 2 has a technique to slow down wrestler moves. Lastly, the page details a contest for readers to submit their own Urawaza game tips and ideas to the magazine, with various prize levels and rewards depending on the quality and reception of their submissions, with prizes ranging from toy vouchers of 12,000 yen for the top prize to 1,500 yen for other categories. This page showcases a prize giveaway section from a magazine called Present Giro. It lists a variety of Nintendo 64 and Game Boy games as prizes. N64 titles include Mario Tennis 64, Paper Mario, referred to as Mario Story, and Doraemon, Nobita's Town SOS. Game Boy prizes feature Dance Dance Revolution GB, Dungeon Seaver, Soul Getter, After School Adventure RPG, and Magical Chaser, Apprentice Magician. Besides games, prizes also include Hamster Club special key holders, a Game Boy Color console, a specified book card, and Pocket Monster plush toys featuring Pichu, Wooper, and Himeguma. There's also a section called Road Michiru Sensei Revival, Cheer Corner, and a list of August prize winners for previous contests. This page is focused on the 64DD and the Mario Artist series. It announces the start of the Mario Artist Apprentice School event, encouraging players to submit creations made in Paint Studio or Talent Studio via the communication kit on LANnet. There's an announcement about increased access points for LANnet services in July and August across various Japanese cities like Sapporo, Sendai, Tokyo, Kyoto, Osaka, and Fukuoka, making it easier and cheaper to connect. The page highlights the ability to create original characters using Paint Studio, which can be used as Stockia. It also mentions that Net Studio information and Mario Artist Apprentice School details are available on the DD fan page of LANnet for those using the communication kit. Furthermore, there's news about limited-time phone order sales for 64DD software, including Japan Pro Golf Tour 64 and Doshin the Giant. Those who purchase via phone can receive a special Giant Doshin 1 handkerchief as a gift, and it lists the phone numbers for Tokyo and Osaka to place orders, with the offer ending on July 31st. Finally, information is given about an upcoming online competition for Japan Pro Golf Tour 64 that will be held via LANnet, inviting players to participate by entering their password and ID to join the tournament mode. The best prize for the Mario Artist Apprentice School competition is a trip to Hollywood. This page is a special feature titled GB Great Strategy 2, which is about Game Boy games and software. The page highlights 34 new software titles for the Game Boy, and it's described as an emergency summer vacation directive to catch the latest information. The contents listed are Koro Koro Korobi, Tales of Fantasia, Narikiri Dungeon, Pokemon de Panapon, Star Ocean, Blue Sphere, Sakura Wars GB, Burning Love Column, not released internationally, Bokujo Monogatari GB3, Boy Meets Girl, Harvest Moon GB3, Dance Dance Revolution GB, Totoko Hamtaro, Tomodachi Daisakusen Deichu, Ham Ham Games, Kiniku Bancho GB2, Mezase, Muscle Champion, not released internationally, Metarote 3, Metabots 3, Shin Megami Tensei, Devil Children, Demikids, Wizardry, Solomon, GB Herobots, Robot Pet Battle Rings, not released internationally. The text emphasizes that this is a secret file to help readers obtain information about new Game Boy software releasing after summer. It jokingly mentions that the information is so enticing it might make you want to buy all the games, but Nintendo is not responsible if that happens and wishes readers good health. This page introduces Koro Koro Kirby for the Game Boy, a unique action game where you control Kirby by tilting the Game Boy itself. It highlights the innovative motion sensor cartridge that allows players to roll Kirby around the screen in all directions. The page explains how tilting the Game Boy forward, backward, left, and right moves Kirby, and quickly lifting the system allows Kirby to jump. Screenshots showcase the gameplay, where Kirby navigates stages filled with enemies and obstacles. The bottom section features cartoon characters, likely magazine staff or mascots, adding a playful element to the game's presentation. The next page showcases Kirby Tilt and Tumble, known in Japan as Koro Koro Kirby, a Game Boy Color game controlled by tilting the handheld. The page introduces various course themes: the green course with grassy and wooded scenery, the cloud course requiring careful rolling to avoid falling, the sky course with aerial jumps between islands, the water course with rafts, the underground course in a dark cave, the sand course with shifting sands, and the castle course featuring robots and switches. The page highlights gameplay hints, emphasizing that the game uses hint boards and super hint boards to guide players. It also mentions the importance of playing in a bright environment due to the Game Boy's screen reflecting light. This page is about the Game Boy game Tales of Phantasia Narikiri Dungeon, a sequel to the popular RPG series, set about 100 years after the original Tales of Phantasia. It introduces the main characters Dio and Mel, twin siblings. The game features a costume change system, where changing Dio and Mel's costumes, referred to as Narikiri, alters their abilities and jobs. The page shows examples like Healer, Bugbear, Samurai, Basilisk, Soldier, and Hunter costumes, each with different skills. Another key feature is the dungeons that change every time you enter them. The dungeons are described as towers and caves with randomly generated maps and item placements, meaning each playthrough can be different. The battle system is highlighted as a command selection type battle that incorporates action elements, called LMB, Linear Motion Battle, adapted from the original Tales of Phantasia and enhanced for the Game Boy. The screenshots showcase the battle interface and command options. The page mentions that the game is scheduled for release in November and is being developed by Namco. It suggests that fans of Tales of Phantasia, who enjoy the fantasy setting, will enjoy this game. It also teases the game's story with time travel elements, hinting at possible encounters with characters from the previous Tales of Phantasia game, like Cress, and uncovering untold episodes. This page announces the upcoming release of Pokémon Puzzle League, known in Japan as Pokémon de Panel de Pon, for the Nintendo 64. It highlights that this new installment merges the popular Panel de Pon puzzle game with Pokémon characters. The article explains the core gameplay mechanics are similar to Panel de Pon, requiring players to match 3 or more panels vertically or horizontally. Various game modes are teased, including an endless mode and a VS computer mode. The page also briefly touches upon the history of the Panel de Pon series, mentioning its popularity on the Super Famicom and Game Boy. It emphasizes that many familiar Pokémon will appear in the game, and shows screenshots of gameplay featuring Pokémon characters within the puzzle action. A list of appearing Pokémon is shown, including Chikorita, Cyndaquil, Totodile, Hoothoot, Pichu, Cleffa, Igglybuff, Togepi. This page is all about the Game Boy Color game Star Ocean Blue Sphere, a new entry in the Star Ocean RPG series set after the events of Star Ocean. Second story for the PlayStation. It highlights new gameplay elements called field techniques, which allow players to interact with the environment in various ways, such as using fire, cutting down trees, using a winch for movement, and even submerging underwater to solve puzzles and navigate the world. The article details the game's setting, a water-covered planet called Edifice, and introduces 2 companions. Ashton, described as an unlucky swordsman, and Precis, a genius but ditzy inventor. It explains private actions, where player choices influence character relationships, and can unlock special items and events. There's also a small section reflecting on space travel both in the game world and in reality, mentioning that while space travel is established in Star Ocean, it's still a distant dream in the real world, referencing a Pepsi-Cola prize related to space travel from a couple of years prior. The page showcases various screenshots of gameplay, including battles and character interactions. This page is all about the Game Boy Color version of Sakura Wars, known as Sakura Taisen GB in Japan. The page highlights new details about the game, emphasizing its portable nature and shorter playtime compared to console versions. It mentions Freedom Time, where you can interact with characters and train them, and Members Location, which helps you find where team members are within the game world. The page also showcases various mini-games available, like True Noon Duel, Doki Doki Lesson, Car Full of Baskets, and Dancing Karateka. Lastly, it introduces the Taisho Romantic Hall, where you can purchase items using points earned in the game, including bromide pictures of team members. The game is set to be released on July 28, priced at 4,800 yen, and is published by Media Factory as an AVG title. It's designed for Game Boy Color with a 16 megabytes cartridge and supports communication features. The next page is all about the Game Boy release of Bokuju Monogatari GB, which we know as Harvest Moon GB. It's hyped as the latest in the relaxing and exciting farm life series, where boys and girls can enjoy two different stories. Scoop 1 highlights the choice between playing as a boy or girl, which impacts the story and events. Marriage is a key feature, offering a new married life experience in the game. Scoop 2 reveals rice farming as a brand new addition. Players can cultivate rice paddies, plant seeds, and harvest rice in the autumn. They can also grow new kinds of wheat. Scoop 3 talks about fun attractions like aquariums, movie theaters, and regular theaters being available. Mini-games are powered up, including snowboarding. You can enjoy time attacks and record your best scores in snowboarding. This page highlights two Game Boy Color titles. Firstly, it showcases Dance Dance Revolution GB, emphasizing its rhythm-based gameplay where players hit buttons in time with arrows on screen, mimicking dance steps. It mentions a dedicated controller for an enhanced experience and describes two game modes. Another, which appears to have changing steps, and Maniac, which offers more challenging gameplay. The page details how to play by matching button presses with the arrows and using the special controller. Secondly, the page introduces Puyo Puyo GB, focusing on its communication battle feature. It mentions a challenge mode for learning techniques and an official battle mode for competitive play. There's also a section about Monster Hunter version and Treasure Hunter version, suggesting RPG elements and a pet system within the Puyo Puyo framework, where players can train and use pets in battles. The article suggests that these versions provide different gameplay experiences focused on enjoying RPG elements. This page showcases previews of several N64 games. Totoko Hamtaro Tomodachi Daisakusen Deichu is a Hamtaro personality diagnosis game, where players input information to receive fortune-telling readings about relationships, resembling a social simulation. The second preview covers Zoids, Evil God of Revival Genobreaker Chapter, an RPG based on the Zoids franchise, and Kaito's Adventure Ocean Roman AVG, an ocean adventure game where players captain a ship, battle pirates, and fish. Finally, a section titled Worker Staff Yomo Yama Diary discusses the popularity of fortune-telling and astrology, mentioning zodiac signs and listing top idols and entertainers based on fortune-telling rankings. The next page showcases a collection of upcoming Game Boy titles, prominently featuring Muscle Training GB2, Aim for Muscle Champion. This game, based on the popular Muscle Ranking TV show, lets players compete in 6 different athletic challenges inspired by the program. Several minigames from Muscle Training GB2 are highlighted, such as Sasuke Jr., which appears to be based on the Ninja Warrior obstacle course, 3-Color Muscle, Strikeout, which is baseball-themed, Super Dive 97, and Workout Guys, a truck pulling contest. These are all designed to test various physical skills and reflexes. It mentions the game allows for communication features to compete and exchange ranking data with friends. Moving on. Friendly Pet Series 3, Cute Puppy, is introduced as a pet simulation game where players raise Labrador and Pomeranian puppies, strengthening their bond through interaction and training for a Nakayoshi point system. Communication features also allow players to interact with friends' puppies. Lastly, Soul Getter, After-School Adventure RPG, is previewed as an orthodox fantasy RPG. Players use souls with fire and wind attributes in pendants to cast magic in battles viewed from a quarter-view perspective. The goal is to find souls and defeat the Demon King. Finally, Beyblade Fighting Tournament is featured as a game where players customize Beyblades and battle, aiming to become the strongest blader. The game highlights tuning parts for Beyblades to create powerful combinations and compete in tournaments. This page highlights upcoming games. First up is Medarot 3 in Kabuto and Kuwagata versions, an RPG set for release in July. It boasts new features like octagonal battlefields, Medarot transformations, and a combat system where you fight alongside allies. New locations are featured like the undersea city Undershell, the underground city Earth Mall, and the Sky City Heaven's Gate. Next it mentions Hamster Club Together Chew, a puzzle game version of the popular Hamster Club, scheduled for September. The gameplay involves connecting blocks of the same number to eliminate them, and familiar characters from Hamster Club will appear. Lastly, it briefly mentions Senkai Ibunroku Juntei Taisen, a simulation RPG based on the Senkaiden Haushin Engi anime, planned for a November release. This page details upcoming games, with the first being for Shin Megami Tensei Devil Children, Black Book and Red Book on the Game Boy Color. This popular RPG series is about befriending demons, and this installment introduces characters such as Takajo Z, who is the main character, and it features conversation and fusion systems. The page then talks about the character Takajo Z, a mysterious boy who appears to be well versed in the story and offers advice. Next is Ganta no Okiraku Daibuken, an adventure game for Game Boy Color featuring the popular dog character Ganta from commercials. The game involves retrieving something important for Ganta and includes minigames. Moving on, the page explains the concept of devil children as half-devils, being list. It introduces the King Riser, a prototype weapon for devil raisers that allows players to summon king-class devils, despite them normally being unsealable. Zoku Zoku Heroes is highlighted as a transformation RPG, where the hero transforms to fight evil and protect the Earth. Players use full changer items and motion commands to transform in the game. Finally, Setagaya Country Club is introduced as a golf game with simple controls, designed for beginners and featuring characters drawn by Tokoro George, and offering 18-hole courses and hidden courses to unlock. This page is about several games being previewed. First up is the classic RPG series Wizardry, specifically Wizardry 1, 2, The Legacy of Lilgamen, and 2i, Knight of Diamonds, all being remade for the Game Boy Color. The Game Boy versions are noted to have new features, like the ability to save during battles, redesigned dungeons, new events, and additional monsters. Next is Dungeon Savior, described as a competitive dungeon RPG, where players create dungeons and battle against each other using customized characters, monsters, and traps. The core gameplay is about strategic placement of monsters and traps within a dungeon to overcome opponents. Finally, Treasure World is previewed as an adventure game, where players dive into the ocean to salvage treasures. Players will explore various locations, using radar to find treasure and cranes to retrieve them from the seabed. The game seems to focus on exploration and treasure hunting in underwater environments. This page showcases a lineup of games. First is Solomon, described as a reborn action game based on Solomon's Key, where you manipulate blocks and collect keys to progress. It features monsters from Monster Farm that can become allies by sealing them with disc stones. Next is Perfect Choro Q, which is Penny Racer 64 internationally. It highlights the customization aspect of RCG, radio control car game, where players freely set up their Choro Q cars and participate in Grand Prix races in various towns. Winning races unlocks new parts and areas, and secret factories allow for further enhancements like jump and drift functions. Then, Magical Taruto-kun, Apprentice Magician's Valley is introduced as a comical side-scrolling shooting game for Game Boy Color. Players control Magical Girl Ripple and Star Spirits to fight demons and collect crystals, aiming to defeat the big demon at the end of each stage. Finally, Love Hina Pocket is previewed as an AVG adventure game where you travel with girls from the popular Love Hina series. The game features 8 girls and lucky draws for overseas trips, with choices in conversations influencing relationships. The gameplay features standard adventure game stages. This page previews 4 upcoming Game Boy Color games. GB Harobot's RoboPet Battle Linking is a robot battling RPG with over 120 robot types and combination features to create powerful machines. Rockman X Cyber Mission is an action game from the Rockman X series, featuring ride armor and character upgrades. Bakusu de Kotora Densetsu GB Special is a truck racing game with heavy customization, where players compete to become legendary truckers. Lastly, Tweety no Daibuken. Sekai Ishu 80 Nichi no Neko wo Sagase is an adventure game starring Tweety Bird, where he protects other birds from cats over 80 in-game days and searches for 80 cats worldwide. The next page is an advertisement for the 8th Dengeki Game Awards, a contest seeking new talent in game-related creative fields. There are 3 categories: novels, comics, and illustrations, all centered around a game theme. The grand prize for each category is 1 million yen, plus an award certificate. Gold and silver prizes are also offered with 500,000 yen and 300,000 yen respectively, also with certificates. For novels, they're looking for original stories in genres like fantasy, sci-fi, and mystery, with specific length requirements for long and short stories. Illustration entries should be original, unpublished game-themed artwork, submitted as a set of color and monochrome pieces. Comic entries should be original comics in various formats like story, gag, or 4-koma, with page limits specified for each type. The deadline for all submissions is April 10, 2001. Judging will happen in stages after the deadline, with final award decisions in August 2001. The judges are a panel of well-known authors, illustrators, manga artists, and editors, including Yoshitaka Amano and Go Nagai. Winners will be announced in Dengeki publications, including Dengeki Nintendo 64, and on the MediaWorks website. The Game Boy celebrates shipping 10 million units worldwide. The page chronicles the handheld's sales growth from 1989 to 2000, highlighting key releases and hardware iterations. The original Game Boy launched in 1989, followed by the Game Boy Pocket, Game Boy Light, and Game Boy Color. Popular software like Tetris and Pokémon significantly boosted the console's appeal, with Pokémon's innovative gameplay and sequels, like Gold and Silver, driving further success. Looking ahead, the page previews the upcoming Game Boy Advance, with its 32-bit CPU and GameCube connectivity, and the mobile adapter GB. An interview with Mr. Toyota attributes the Game Boy's success to quality software, especially the impact of Pokémon. A pre-order campaign for Mystery Dungeon, Shiren the Wanderer 2 on SFC and Game Boy is announced, with a Mamoru Omamori charm offered for pre-orders at Lawson stores. The Kakikahe service for rewriting game data is available for both versions. The page also lists game rankings from May 29 to July 2, with Kirby 64, The Crystal Shards, The Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask, and Hunter x Hunter. Hunter no Kishu topping their respective charts. Overstishu. Other popular titles are included in the top 10. The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past for Game Boy, is now available on the NP service, with other Game Boy titles also being added. Furthermore, a new 2-part Zelda game, The Legend of Zelda, Oracle of Seasons and Ages, featuring a link system, is coming to the Game Boy. Finally, Super Mario Tennis Festa 2000 events for Mario Tennis 64 are announced, offering winners an invitation to Space World. Nintendo is preparing for Space World 2000 in August, with expectations for N64, Game Boy, and Game Boy Advance titles. Anticipated N64 games include Banjo Party and Pokémon Gold and Silver. The Game Boy is expected to have 35 to 60 titles, including Korokoro Kirby and Hamster Paradise 3. GameCube, Dolphin software may also be showcased, and the Game Boy Advance will have playable hardware. Other announcements include a Kirby 64 fan art contest ending September 11th, a Celebi gift application deadline of July 31st, and the launch of the Dengeki online website. A Game Boy Zoids game is launching August 4th with a special figure. Finally, the Space World 2000 event is confirmed for August 25-27th at Makuhari Messe, with free admission. This page highlights various summer releases and promotions. ANA is bringing back its Pokemon Jets with a card campaign. A lottery offers a chance to win a Sony camera or TV. TSU Tei is releasing a water blue Game Boy Color. Banpresto is launching Pokemon Kairaki key covers. Loppy stores will sell Sakura GB strap boxes. The Sakura Wars song review show is scheduled in August. Upcoming Game Boy releases include Space Invaders DX and Boku no Kampju. A prize draw offers Giant Killing logo t-shirts. Totoko Hamtaro goods are featured, with a game launching in September and plush toys. Other highlights include The Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask soundtrack, and Dungeon Savior, offering a telecard/poster set. Finally, Makoto Nagai's Ijan Do You Feel Like I Feel single, the Hunter x Hunter ending theme, is advertised. The page also thanks departing staff and promotes the Totoko Hamtaro anime. This page celebrates the 3rd anniversary of Shiomen 64. The page expresses gratitude to its readers for their support. Mario Story, which is the Japanese name for Paper Mario in English territories, is featured, along with a humorous segment involving Dreamcast fans and air cannons. A school scene is also depicted with teacher Rinpo-sensei discussing summer vacation and a perceived dangerous atmosphere amongst the students. Character introductions are presented, featuring individuals such as Mariko-kun, Rinpo-sensei, and others, accompanied by brief descriptions of their personalities and gaming preferences. The general tone is celebratory and appreciative of the readership for supporting Shiomen 64 for 3 years. This page is titled Shiomen 64 and features a humorous comic strip about summer vacation. The comic depicts characters at the beach, where one character, referred to as a pervert teacher, is causing trouble. Later, the scene shifts indoors, where conflict escalates, with chairs being thrown and a character transforming into a demon-like figure when angered, identified as Rinpo-zan. The page also includes reader submissions, in smaller boxes to the right of the comic strip, showcasing illustrations and descriptions related to their N64 gaming experiences. These submissions feature characters like Y Izanami dressed in a Biohazard Zero, Resident Evil Zero costume, Black with a summer-themed illustration, N Izanami with summer items, and Mariko in a yukata. The page also mentions Top Reader as a popular series during the summer and makes a brief reference to online auctions and wasteful spending. A small section discusses a scary game and mentions reporting it to Thailand, and asks about Endorphin Fin as a topic. This page is an advertisement for the anime series DGI Sherritt's Summer Special 2000. It announces that TBS will broadcast the anime for 2 consecutive days, starting August 22nd and 23rd. The anime is about the characters working at the character shop Gamers in Akihabara, and a new danger approaches them during summer. This page is an advertisement for the Game Boy Color game, Bakusu de Kotora Densetsu GB Special, a truck simulation game. The advert features a large, brightly decorated truck with elaborate customizations. The text highlights the game's title and tagline, which translates to Runaway de Kotora Legend GB Special, Ogaken Fleet's Domination of the World. It also mentions a price of 3,980 yen and that it is on sale. This page is an advertisement for the Nintendo 64 game Neon Genesis Evangelion Mahjong Instrumentality Project. It features Rei Ayanami and Mahjong tiles, highlighting game modes like Scenario Mode, Free Match, Communication Matches, and Trading Cards. It was scheduled for release in September and includes special card masters as a bonus. The game is developed by Gainax and published by King Records.